Alright, yesterday ArenaNet blessed us with a balance patch preview. I like these, don't get me wrong, but I only care about the PvE part, and I also hate reading through lines and lines of changes. So here's a more condensed version for people like me. Let's start with Elementalists. Scepter will get a buff to the power coefficients, turning it into more of a power damage weapon in PvE. Dagger and Staff will see some improvements as well. The former's breath attacks will gain reduced casting time, and the latter's fields will now activate when being placed down. An example of this would be static fields, which would CC an enemy if they walked over the edge. Now, the initial strike will do the crowd controlling. All of this looks pretty good in my opinion. Tempests will also want to overload air more and get more access to Fury, while Weavers will deal a bit more damage and have shorter cooldowns. Mesmers have a lot of defensive utilities nobody ever uses. These will get their cooldowns reduced, sometimes by significant amounts. Aether Feast will now not only heal but also cleanse conditions, which is great in the open world, but I doubt anyone will care in group content. My 2 Mirage builds will become slightly stronger, and Power Virtuoso is getting a solid bump because right now people only play Condi Virtuoso, and for good reason. Necromancers get some nice cooldown reduction to the utilities. Again, for the open world, pretty awesome. For group content, not sure. Maybe in fractals? I don't know. Spectral Ring will get the same treatment as the Elementalist static field, which is great though. Now Harbingers, they have reason to celebrate. Implaceable Foe will now grant damage reduction for a short duration when entering Shroud. Not the whole time, but now you can go into Shroud when you know you're about to take heavy damage. I like this. It's a big buff but requires skill expression. Next up are Thieves, who get big buffs to their venoms, and I said this live on stream yesterday. If you gotta increase whatever modifier of an ability by 400% or more, something was wrong. Very, very wrong. They also get some improvement to quality of life, as now multiple Thieves can grant venoms to the same target without any issues. Sword is getting a bit of a nudge upward with better power coefficients. I have always wanted to like this weapon, but the animation locks make me prefer other power damage weapons. And like all of the others, we're seeing a good amount of cooldown reduction for utility skills. Not sure if any will make the cut for endgame group content, but I'm kinda excited for the open world. ArenaNet didn't forget about their elite specs either. Daredevils become a bit more survivable, Deadites can finally stop paying for their sins while kneeling, and Spectre hopefully a bit easier to manage as a support. Now on to Engineers, and oh boy, we're seeing buffs to the Toolkit in PvE. If you don't know what that is, trust me, none of us do. No one uses this kit in PvE, and I doubt this will change. I hear it's great in PvP though. Poison and freeze grenades will become better, but the star of the show is Elixir X. Previously, you could turn into a rampaging warrior avatar or a tornado. Now they're adding Lich to the mix. Probably a gimmick in PvE, but I can already see World v World players smiling. Holosmiths will have to pay the price for coming in 5th on the Snow Crow's benchmark. That's something you clearly do not do. Now on to Rangers, who will see some improvements to both long and short bow. I'm kinda excited about these, especially since I did a world comp in a single stream on my Ranger. And like so many others, lots and lots of cooldown reductions for utility skills, and the Juvenile Aether Hunter gets a bit of a rework to make it better. Soul Beasts will see some fixes, but I know you all will be most excited about the Untamed Unleash Pet's visual effect now fading over time. Heavy armor time, and let's start with warriors. Despite giving us staff, banners and a warhorn, ArenaNet can't seem to convince us to play support warrior. Jokes aside, I like heal warrior, and the reduced casting time on some banners and reduced cooldowns on a lot of utility skills are something I am looking forward to. Next, Paladins, Guardians. Same treatment for ground targeted abilities like the Elementalist static charge, which is great. Really, ArenaNet, this is a big upgrade. The most important changes are for Firebrands though. You will now generate pages faster, and a lot of skills will cost less pages. And finally, the new kid on the block, Revenants, who will see some significant buffs to Power Renegade, although most of them are for PvP. Vindication seems to be a nice upgrade for PvE, although I really need to try it to see how it plays for my kind of content. There you go, shorter balance patch notes in audio format. If you want the full list, check the pinned comment. I gotta run, I'm supposed to be streaming.